Hi, I'm Sam LaPrade. Welcome to Ottawa Business Matters. This is all about this wonderful city and everything happening in it from a business perspective. I'd like to introduce our very first guest, and that is Alain Miguelez, and he is the Vice President at the NCC. Hello, Alain.
How are you?
Fantastic. Tell me what your exact role is, because it's a big one.
It is a big one. So I'm the Chief Planner of the National Capital Commission. My exact title is Vice President Capital Planning. So the NCC has a very important function of planning the national capital, and we're a long-range, future-looking planner. Mm-hmm. So my team deals with planning, basically planning for the future, and does a number of different projects that are very exciting.
It's wonderful. I saw you speak at the city building event, which was, of course, with the Ottawa Board of Trade, which was a great event. Learned a lot about the city. Could have listened to you the entire day because there was a lot of really great information I think the average resident maybe of the capital isn't aware of in terms of the NCC. Give us a sense of maybe projects that are on the go right now.
There's always projects on the go. The NCC is a very busy place. We've always got things on the go. This summer, we're going to be reopening what people know as Nepean Point, but it's got a new name. It's called Kiweki Point, and it's completely redesigned. There's a new bridge that you can walk to Kiweki Point to and from Major Cell Park. That's part of that. We're rebuilding the Lady Grey Wall along Lady Grey Drive, which is right on the river. So just to set things up for just a whole improvement of that area. Last year, the NCC reopened the River House, and it's got a swimming deck, and it's free, and that's awesome. And there's just a number of different things. We're working on Westboro Beach. We started working on the Brewery Creek lands in Old Downtown Hull, which is right by like a mini Rideau Canal that they have over there, which is absolutely charming. There's housing opportunities there. There's an opportunity for a new park along the side of that little canal. We've got the bistros that people like so much, and they like them so much that we got 3 new ones going on this year. One is at Bait Island, which is just off the Champlain Bridge, another one at Leamy Lake, and another one at Hogsback Park. So there's always stuff on the go. We're repairing the lights along the Rideau Canal this year as well, so there's always stuff going on.
I can't believe you have time to join me today. Honestly, I'm like listening. I need a nap now. It's a lot, but this city, you know, some people have said there's a lot of challenges with this city. I see it as opportunity. Are you with me?
Absolutely. Yeah. This is, I mean, we're a bigger metropolitan area now. We've got 1.6 million people in this area, and it's one of the bigger urban centers in Canada. So it's normal that there's a lot going on. And obviously, nobody can do anything by themselves. So it's all about partnerships. And so we're in the city building arena, obviously. The NCC is there to build an inspiring capital. We're the capital city of Canada, and so we're the country's window to the world. And when people come here, you know, we've done our job when we see that people feel proud of their national capital, and they're proud to show it off, and they feel a sense of belonging, national belonging. They see a sense of, you know, the history, the traditions, the stories of Canada, the institutions, but also the place itself. And the place itself is a place that has an urban core. It has natural settings. It has suburban communities all around. It's a pretty big area, right? It's about 40% the size of Prince Edward Island. Wow. So it's a very big area, and we need to get each part right? And the National Capital Commission has a lot of lands, not just natural lands, but in the city as well.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think business owners and entrepreneurs should think about the NCC? Why do you think it's important to kind of watch what the NCC is doing?
Well, obviously, I mean, we're a partner in city building, as I said, and the NCC owns a lot of lands, but they also oversee a lot of very critical sites and locations. You think of, you know, the main reason Canadians would come to Ottawa as the national capital is what they will see in the core. Right, so it's Parliament Hill, and it's the museums, it's Confederation Boulevard, it's all the sites and symbols of Canadian democracy, the institutions, the cultural locations, the setting. All that has such a history, and it belongs to all Canadians. So it's a big boost to the tourism economy of the metropolitan region, and we're aware of that, and we think that the whole city both sides of the river, actually, both cities get to leverage their status as national capital to boost their tourism economy. But they can leverage everything that exists in terms of assets to leverage other economic activity as well.
I did not see it that way, so I appreciate that. Really interesting perspective. One thing I want to ask you about, recently the Ottawa Board of Trade released the Downtown Action Plan and agenda, and talking about what the plan is for the city moving forward. How did the NCC play a role in that plan?
Well, I mean, basically, we're pursuing very similar goals, right? So in our case, the timing was actually perfect as well, because we're in the midst of reviewing our downtown plan. There's something called the Core Area Plan that the NCC has, which is the plan that talks about what the future looks like for federal lands in the core of the capital, both sides of the river. And both sides of the river, that's important too, because it's the shorelines on both sides, it's the views to and from both sides, it's the bridges and the islands, and it's a lot of very important land that are in the city's postcards, right? So that's important. We see that the federal government is proceeding with a mandate to divest of 50% of the office portfolio. A lot of that are downtown sites. So what are the futures of those sites? And housing is a big part of the conversation now. There's other downtown lands, and I just talked about the project that we have over in Gatineau on Brewery Creek. So there's housing in that equation as well. So it's actively participating in a way in helping the fulfillment of some of the objectives, like 40,000 new residents downtown, and building up the critical mass that will set the stage for 50,000 new jobs downtown, et cetera, et cetera.
It's really an exciting time. You have such an interesting job. Talk to me a little bit about how you got here. What's your journey?
I'm an urban planner by trade. I grew up in Ottawa, and I love the city, and I've been watching it grow. And I actually spent 20 years as a professional planner at the City of Ottawa. I started out in consulting, but I was almost 20 years at the City of Ottawa as a planner, and then this opportunity came up. And it's similar in a lot of ways, very different in many others. It's still planning, and it's still city building, and it's still my city. It's now both sides of the river, and it's from a Crown Corporation perspective, and it's with very, very critically important lands. So what's not to like? And we've got a great team. The NCC has professionals in architecture, in urban design, in landscape architecture, in transportation planning that are top notch. So it's a pleasure to work with that team as well.
And when I think about, your role, for instance, sounds obviously very, very busy. You could just stay in your lane and do your work, but it sounds like collaboration with the Ottawa Board of Trade and with others is really going to be the sweet spot to actually get things done in this city.
I think that's the way forward in anything you want to try to do, and especially in the context of a city as complex as ours and a region as complex as ours. Unless we have partnerships, we're not, really going to move the yardsticks. I think the thinking more and more is, we've become a much larger and mature metropolitan area. We're the capital of Canada, but we're a lot of other things as well, right? And, from the NCC's perspective, we look at that duality, and it's always been traditionally, town and crown, and town is here and crown is there. And I think we're looking at things a little differently now. We want the city to look like a capital, and we want the capital to look like a city. Right? And the more we blur those lines, the more successful we'll be. So we can play off each other's roles, mandates, and responsibilities to the greater benefit.
Because I think from a resident's perspective, whether you're a business owner or you're working for the federal government or whatever your role is, everybody benefits from the beautiful work of the NCC, whether it's hiking in a park or whether it's enjoying some of the amenities that you shared. It's good to live, work, and play in a place so beautiful. And the NCC, I think many of us take it for granted, Alain, I'll be honest, maybe I do. I think many of us have sort of realized how beautiful the city is, and a lot of it has to do with the NCC.
A lot of it does have to do with the NCC. It's been around for 125 years, believe it or not. It's an anniversary year this year, 2024. It was set up in 1899. So if you think of how much the city's changed, both cities, in 125 years, and you're right, the NCC has been in, throughout all those decades doing things that add up to something very beautiful. And it just comes down to one word: livability. And that's the special spice that we have here. People flock to our region because it's such a livable region. And it's got the wonderful quick access to nature, but it's also got a vibrant urban setting and core that more and more people are interested in. And the NCC is there to nurture it and plan it. We get to play the long game because we're a long-term planner. So whoever comes after me doing the job that I'm doing, my job is to leave that person with enough tools in their hands so that they can continue rolling out things that are long-range plans, long-term strategies, and thinking of it that way.
I love that. I love that. Before we go, because it always goes by so quickly, we only have about a minute left, but tell me something about the NCC that maybe the average person doesn't know, Alain. Help us out a little bit.
I think the average person may not realize how open the NCC actually is, you know, and that's changed a lot. We have an event called Open NCC every year, which is kind of a mix between Doors Open Ottawa and Jane's Walk. Okay. So, you know, people can come and check out a whole bunch of sites and talk to staff and interact with some of the stuff that we do and sites that we operate. The board of directors has open meetings, and we have an annual general meeting that's also open, so people can talk to us. And we listen, and we do listen. We're part of this community.
And that's such an important piece, because I think, you know, we all care so much about this city. And I think the transparency and the opportunity to connect, like with you today and to see you at City Building, I learned so much that day. So I want to make sure that people feel like they could reach out as well and connect in all those opportunities.
Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
It's really, really important. Lots coming up on the show today. I know you're going to stay because it's a lot of great guests as well today.
Definitely.
Alain, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Alain Miguelez, of course, joining us from the NCC. He's a vice president there. When we come back, the doctor is in the house. Dr. Vera Etches will be here, Medical Officer of Health for the City of Ottawa. Stay with us on Ottawa Business Matters. I'm Sam LaPrade. Welcome back to Ottawa Business Matters. I have been waiting a very long time to have Dr. Vera Etches join us today. She is the Medical Officer of Health for the City of Ottawa, and we have had many interviews together. This is the first in person. I'm so excited. Thank you.
We are in better times.
Yes, yes.
Thanks to everyone.
Yes, absolutely. Better times. So think back to, honestly, we were speaking sometimes on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, when I was on radio and we were in the middle of the pandemic. And you were really a voice that we listened to. We had to have a point here in the city of Ottawa of someone we could rely on. That was a big responsibility for you. Do you look back on those times? How are you feeling now that we've come out of that time?
Well, I do think there was a really strong sense that everyone needs to do their part. Mm-hmm. And we're here today thinking about businesses. Mm-hmm. And I really remember trying to specifically help businesses with information about infection prevention and control. And yet we saw all these other harmful effects, mm-hmm. right? Decreasing social connections, and so mental health impacts. And today, we're having this still ongoing relationship with the Ottawa Board of Trade mm-hmm. that has allowed us to say, okay, what now? How do we support businesses at this point? And we heard it's about mental health and addictions. And so again, together, creating the resources that can help small and medium-sized businesses.
It's all about collaboration. And I remember in the middle of the pandemic seeing you work very closely with Su-Ling Ching, of course, President, CEO of the Ottawa Board of Trade, on test kits, on different initiatives, and really working hand in hand. And I love to see that that's continued. That's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, what we're hearing is businesses want to be part of the mm-hmm. solution. They want to know what to do when their employees are facing a mental health or addictions challenge. What about the people who come in off the street or their clients? And they were asking questions like, who do I call? How do I navigate this this issue, who can help. And so the idea of creating a toolkit that we're just launching actually today came forward. And so it's one place for businesses to turn to get answers to those questions, even simple things like actually having a poster on who to call. These kinds of things, I hope will assist people.
When I think about this city, I think about, business owners that have been here a long time, or somebody that's brought a brand new idea and they're a startup. And I think about all of the pressure that businesses are under, and many people working by themselves and may feel really alone. Mm-hmm. Is this also a tool to make sure they know they're not alone?
Absolutely. I'll just draw a comparison to when you have concerns about cancer screening, cancer diagnosis. You sort of know where to go, and then the system helps you along.
Right.
They make sure you get the treatment you need. It's not so clear when it comes to mental health and addictions, especially if you're new to the city as a business. You don't know, it's not exactly a system, right? So yes, helping people know there are agencies that are there to support with mental health and addictions. You can get treatment in this city. There are sometimes barriers, there can be waits, but helping people who are new understand what exists. I think that's really part of the goal of this.
So where are we going, Dr. Etches, to find this toolkit, and how can we implement it?
Ottawa Public Health website, and then just search Business Toolkit. It's there, bilingual, of course, en français aussi. I think the next steps will be to see how it helps businesses, or what their response is, what else do they need. Certainly in the background, we are trying to build a stronger system with many partners for mental health and addictions. We do want that ease of access to decrease the waiting times for people to get what they need. It's actually really exciting to see businesses becoming advocates for a better system as well. So I think continuing that partnership to get people in Ottawa what they need.
And we know just recently the Ottawa Board of Trade, with a number of partners, issued the Downtown Action Plan, and really talking about what they're hoping to have achieved in this city. And it really, the basis of, obviously housing, making sure that businesses come to the downtown core, but people live downtown. We know that there's lots of challenges downtown as well. I see lots of opportunities though. So walk me through your response to that plan, and what you responded in terms of the Ottawa Board of Trade.
As soon as I saw the report and I read it, I was like, this is what we need. It's very practical. We can't change everything overnight, but starting with housing, absolutely, we support from a health perspective. People need a place to be. We see some of the things that are most troubling is people have openly seen drug use on our streets, right? And people need a place to be. They need a roof, and they need the supports to be able to decrease the harms from their drug use over time. So I think that's a foundation. I see that housing as key for the health of our city broadly as well. And so the idea of bringing families in, taking a look at what newcomers, again, you mentioned, to our city need. It's housing that's different from what's downtown right now. Right now we have single bedroom is the majority, right? But we have families we want to attract. So we need to transition and shift to more diverse community. I really am excited. I think we can get to a really different downtown that is got all the aspects you need to live there, work there, play there, attractive to residents that are in the area and also visitors to our city. All of that will be good for health.
And we know that, obviously there was a tremendous loss of life, a very, very challenging time during the pandemic. But the silver linings that are coming out of that, because I really try to find positive in everything, is that I find there's more collaboration, more people willing to work together for these bigger issues that are never going to be solved by the federal government, a municipal government, the provincial government by themselves. It takes an entire city rowing the same way. Yeah. How do you feel about this opportunity we have now to, it's almost like start afresh in a way?
I think it's really it is important that the trends we were seeing, our downtown not being as vibrant as other cities' downtown, that was there before.
Right.
The pandemic definitely has shown us, okay, we do need to change this collectively, and the different levels of government is key. We know that funding is a big issue, and no one government can do this work. So I do think that having that common vision is an excellent foundation. Very specific ideas as well, right? Thinking about the other health issue that's on my mind a lot is how are we going to deal with hotter environments, right? And so this plan, again, considers climate change and what do we need to do to make sure we have more trees, more green space, that we think about how we can cool down our downtown as well. These are really, it's a very comprehensive vision.
You have a very big job, and I remember, and I don't mean to keep bringing up the pandemic, but it just was a moment that really had me reflecting on how I was dealing with the pandemic, was you put out a statement saying, today I'm going for a walk. And I thought to myself, Dr. Etches has time to go for a walk, because you really truly were the busiest person in this city, hands down. But you really wanted to make sure people knew that mental health was important, not only for you're telling everybody to do it, but you took that on yourself. How important is it that you also, share that with residents so that they can also see them reflected in how busy maybe their lives are?
It is important. I know business leaders work very hard. They feel responsible to keep their business going, and that's not an easy job. And I think business owners also maybe sometimes need that reminder that you can't keep going in a sustainable way if you're not looking after yourself. Thinking about your employees, taking a walking break at lunch. Like, these are very practical approaches that do help us have the energy to keep going.
Because it can be daunting, and with everything sort of coming with, obviously inflation and mortgage rates, and it can be very daunting for people to sort of manage through the day. And mental health, as you've mentioned, is such a key part to ensure that this is a healthy city. What else do you want us to know about the health of this city, and maybe how we can all help each other?
I do think that social connection is really important to rebuild. You don't need a doctor to talk to someone, right? And we know we have a lack of family doctors, but we also know that staying active, talking with friends, building new friendships in your neighborhood, learning from one another is something we can all do. And I think when people welcome someone new to the neighborhood, that benefits everybody. And businesses do this. I see businesses being part of that welcoming, people to the community. And so I think these are practical things. You're right. We can all be part of promoting a healthy city.
And once again, you've got this really big job. I just admire you so much, and you've been very open to come on and speak with members of the media. And I think when you do that, then you get to speak with thousands of people at once. I mean, that's the benefit of you coming on. But I think the benefit for us is you feel very accessible to us, which is rare sometimes. So thank you for that. Give me a sense of the Ottawa Board of Trade is working very hard for members to try and ensure, and all businesses here in the city, to try and ensure this city is viable not only for tourism perspective, but a business, onboarding new businesses, etc. What words of advice would you have for maybe members that are struggling a little bit right now?
I think if it comes to identifying health needs, we are here to listen. We would like to know what else could be useful for businesses in terms of thinking about the health of their employees, their clients, what they're seeing. That was one of the beautiful things, is to have a regular exchange of ideas, what's working, what's not working. And then we can take that to the others that are working in health. We have many partners, and the city plays a role. So I like to think of being a connector between the different sectors, because how our businesses do is absolutely important for the health of our whole city.
Absolutely. An Ottawa Public Health website, tons of information there. I think people may be a bit surprised at the resources there.
Yeah.
So we'll send everybody there, Dr. Etches.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Vera Etches joining us today. She's the Medical Officer of Health for the city of Ottawa. Coming up, my friend Jacqueline Belsito. Stay with us on Ottawa Business Matters. The Senators Community Foundation is led by one of the best fundraisers in this city, and that is Jacqueline Belsito. She is president of the foundation. Hello, my friend.
Good morning. Hello.
I say fundraiser, but you're so much more than that. You're strategic. You're community oriented. You have raised a lot of money in this city with a number of different organizations, but you have landed in this spot. And do you remember the second I found out that you had this role, I said, thank heavens, because I think it needed a fresh perspective, and I think it needed you.
Oh, thank you for that. I feel truly lucky and honored to be able to revitalize the Sens Foundation. It's a fascinating role. I feel like I'm an entrepreneurial CEO,
Right.
and that's not a path I would have chosen for myself. It's like I'm hands-on, like we're a small but mighty team, hands-on, working, rolling up my sleeves, working with donors, doing the things that I love, and then trying to build an organization in collaboration with the hockey club. So it's more entrepreneurial than I thought, and it's so much fun.
And it's great because you've come in at such an interesting time as well, right? New owner, Michael Andlauer, and all of those incredible backers as well, and some local people that I know so that made it fun. Like, I think there's a lot of excitement around the club. I think a lot of people wonder where the money goes. We buy 50-50 or we attend an event. How do you disperse the money around the city?
It's a good question, and you're right. When I think about it, is the most exciting time to get involved with the team. Imagine a city without this NHL team. We don't want to.
Right.
Imagine it without an NHL foundation. And so I think we've talked a little bit about this already today, that our goal is we believe and care about the city that we're playing in. And what are those real issues? And their housing and their education and their homelessness and their youth. And so we really want to provide some hope to children and youth and support those pathways that set them up so that they can have their very, very best life. So it's a variety of ways. So that could be food in your belly. It could be an after work school, or not after work,
right,
after school program. It could be making sure that they have those wraparound services for mental health that is so important. So those are the kinds of things that we support.
And your journey as a leader in this city, and I know whenever I say leader to you, you kind of go, but you are a leader in this city. People look at you as a leader in this city. Walk me through your journey, because I think people think, oh, well, Jacqueline's always just been there, but it's been a path. It's been a lot of work.
It has. I would say that it's best described in 3 decades. And so the first decade of my career, I worked in high tech. I worked for Corel and Cognos, and I was in marketing and communications and community engagement. So on the leading edge of technology. And then I switched to philanthropy. What's not that well known is I used to work for Olympic Sport. And then I joined KCI, so National Fundraising, you know them well,
Yes.
fundraising a firm that exposed me to all the different kinds of non-for-profits in the community and the value of arts and culture and healthcare and grassroots organizations, large and small. And so I love that. And then the last decade I spent at CHIO.
Oh, yes.
Stole my heart. That organization stole my heart. So proud of my work there. And now I'm here. And so it's all come to this moment for me.
And I really wanted you to describe that, because I think there's a lot of people working in corporate work, because I hear it all the time. People kind of pull me aside in an event and go, I've been doing corporate work for 15 years. Do you think my skills are transferable to philanthropy or to working for this foundation or working to this charitable organization? And I always say yes, 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 because it's all about relationships. And you do that beautifully. I see you connecting where I really, I mean, I always see you shine, but where I really saw it was at the Sens Gala this year. I don't know how you did it. You were 15 places at one time, and you were just, you know, connecting with people and making sure people felt you came to my table and made sure I was like, you know, and I'm just Sam LaBrad, right? So, I mean, you just really have this opportunity of connecting people.
No, I really appreciate that. I think it's something I'm really proud of. I think the most thing I'm proud of in my career is the cards and letters that I get from other people to say that I've influenced them. So through mentorship or lifting up a hand or guiding them in their own career. As you know, I'm a very big advocate, particularly for women, in lifting up others in their careers. And that is something that I'm proud of. Like all my wins are team wins, you know, and that's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to go to the Sens. It's because it is such a unique time. It's so exciting to be involved with all of this change, new ownership, new coach, new foundation, right? And to not get on board with that enthusiasm. I thought, oh, I can make a difference here. And I can make a difference in the city that I love, in the city that we play in, but it takes a whole ecosystem of community to lift each other up, and that means lending a hand. That means helping others out. It means being an economic driver for your community. It means reaching out to your friends or being there for people, and that's what this is for me.
Is there anybody? Many people look to you. Is there anyone you look to that thought, you know, you think to yourself, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this person or that person?
That's a tough question. So I would say the reason why I'm here is because I've had good mentorship. I've had female leaders. One of the reasons why I went to the Sens is actually because of Erin Crow and her female leadership and executive leadership. But people have lifted me up along the way. Men and women have lifted me up and encouraged me to reach for the stars. And so I think that's what we want to do with kids, right? So we want them to reach for the stars. And I'll give you a small example. It's we call it a little bit of the magic of hockey. The magic of hockey could be going to a game. Not everybody can afford to go to a game, right. And so we want to make sure that kids and families can go to the game. We want to make sure at a game that you're, maybe it's a bit of normalcy. Maybe you, as a child or as an adult, maybe you're going through something like cancer, but going to a game is actually just a memory with your parent. Maybe you're meeting your real life hero for the first time. Right. Maybe you're meeting Brady, maybe you're meeting Chris Neal, maybe you're whoever you're meeting, Josh Norris. You're meeting your hero for the first time. That actually could change the trajectory of your ambition as a child or an adult. But I'll tell you, it's meeting those kinds of people is what makes our players feel like they're the one who are honored and that they have met their heroes, and it's what inspires them to do better on the ice. Like it's like mentorship is not an age or a role or a title. That is inspiration, and I think, I don't know. I think
a beautiful intersection. Right?
It really is, and I've had those experiences throughout my life, and so we want to give those experiences.
Yeah. And I still, like, you know, when I get to meet, I'm very lucky. I've gotten to meet a lot of players over the years, but when I'm still told, I'm going to be interviewing Chris Neal or Daniel Alfredson or, you know, just even that era and the new players as well, or new to me players, I think those are moments where you realize that those players rely on the city as well. It's not just one way.
We're so proud of Ottawa and being part of Ottawa, but it's the fans that lift us up, and so we want to do the same. We want to lift them up in the city, in Ottawa and Gatineau, where they live and what's most meaningful to them. So absolutely, we want to win on the ice and we want to have a great game day experience, but we care, and they care, and so we're together. And so I think that's an exciting part.
Any regrets?
No, not one. Yeah,
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like I've had a lot of, I mean, as you know, I think we both had those moments where you think, oh my gosh, can I go on? But at the end of the day, I wouldn't turn them in because I wouldn't be where I am today. Is that how you feel?
I feel that, and I think exciting time for the team, way to make a difference. But if I couldn't, I would not have gone if I couldn't continue to lift others up, but in a broader way. What it's done is it's exposed me to understand what some of the critical issues are that are in the community, and knowing that that the Sens could rally the community or shine a light on an issue that otherwise might not be known, and that's what fills my cup. So no regrets.
No regrets. What words of wisdom for a young Jacqueline Belsito? If a young Jacqueline Belsito is listening right now, what would you say to her?
I would say go for it and believe in yourself. And you know, as young women, there's been lots of obstacles in our way, and to persevere and trust in your talent and your compassion for others, and know your worth. And so believe in yourself, and link arms with other people, because you're stronger together, and just go for it.
And you've put a really big focus, we only have about a minute, but you've put a really big focus as well on education with you know, Association of Fundraising Professionals, and obviously from a business perspective as well. How important has that education, that continuing education been for you?
I think it's been a great equalizer. I think it's a great equalizer for kids. I did not come from a wealthy family. I would say one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was in sports, that a teacher said to me, my gym teacher said to me, stay in sports, Jacqueline. Get an education, stay in sports. And you know what? It's made all the difference. And so I think it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your economic background, the language you speak, what you look like, who you love. If you have an education, you can create your path.
I need a t-shirt that says all that. Jacqueline Belsito, I adore you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Jacqueline Belsito, of course, she is the president of the Senators Community Foundation, and she is fantastic. When we come back, another fantastic person is going to join me here on Ottawa Business Matters. You're going to learn all about TAAG. Stay with us. And we are back on Ottawa Business Matters. I'm Sam LaPrade, introducing a good friend of mine, Bill Ayyad, joining us today from TAAG. How are you?
Great. Great to be with you.
I'm so excited. You are the COO. For those that don't know what that means, tell us.
Chief Operating Officer.
That's an important role.
It's an important role, yeah. You
And
get to do a lot of things.
I have to do a lot of things, and I think a lot of things land on your plate from what I've seen. Give us a sense of what TAAG is all about.
So TAAG was founded in 2009 by our CEO and President Andrew Abraham. Comes from a family of entrepreneurs, and that's what drives him. He is an entrepreneur, business leader, a community leader. So I joined in 2020, January 2020, and it's been tremendous growth ever since. When I joined, we had 15 to 20 employees. We're well over 80 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know I don't have to point it out to everybody, but there was pandemic years in there.
Correct.
So you grew through the pandemic.
We grew through the pandemic, yeah.
Yeah.
Despite the pandemic, we grew.
And what's the business all about? What do you actually do?
So when the firm was founded by Andrew, it was the main core of the business is the accounting and tax. So we've seen the growth in that division, as well as new verticals. We've acquired a marketing and design firm, the Gordon Group, a well-known firm, operating in Ottawa for over 35 years. We have TAAG Law, and we've also got our family office and wealth management. So all these verticals contributed to our growth.
And it is a one-stop shop for many places,
Correct.
which is kind of rare, I would think. So is that sort of the unique offer there?
So that's the uniqueness, and that was Andrew's vision, everything under one roof. Again, his family operated many businesses, so he saw the challenges firsthand. So now you come into our office, for whether for accounting, tax planning, or what have you, and then in the same office, just down the hallway. If you're incorporating, we just take you down the hallway. Law is there. Estate planning, succession planning, family offices just down the hall. You're launching your brand, marketing and designs right there, all under one roof, meeting in the same board meeting.
Brilliant,
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
And you all seem to be everywhere. I don't know how you're doing that.
My wife wonders that.
Yeah. So you do sponsor a lot of events.
We do.
You're at a lot of events. How important is that community partnership
Very
piece for
important,
you?
giving back. And we look at the community and we see where the need is, and that's where we like to contribute. We've done, I'm a firm believer in local charities. For example, I support the Ride for Dad, and you know that. TAAG does as well. We've the Ottawa Police Gala. We sponsor it every year. We've got TAAG Park, Carleton University. We sponsor it. That's a long-term commitment, and I think that's huge. And then recently we've partnered with the Capital Prosperity Foundation, CPF. I know you had Kevin and
Dan.
on your shoe, and Dan, yeah. And this has been really great for us because prosperity is our brand. And we aligned well with them. These two gentlemen actually came to see me. Andrew was around Christmas last year, and we talked about it, and kind of, we're already supporting OPS, so it kind of was a great fit for us. So when I mentioned it to Andrew, he was all over it. It's prosperity brand, why reinvent the wheel? We just joined forces, and here we are today. Andrew and I actually sit on the board of CPF.
And it's wonderful. And recently I was at the golf tournament, at the dinner. I was helping auctioning stuff off. It was so much fun. And Andrew was right there, front row, and having a great time. I think it's one of those opportunities for the intersection. We've talked about it a lot today, even with Jacqueline, talking about the intersection of business and community and how important they work together. I even think back to the conversation with Dr. Vera Etches, how Ottawa Public Health is putting such a spotlight on business owners. Talk to me a little bit about the Ottawa Board of Trade, because I sort of see all of these conversations, and then I see the Ottawa Board of Trade as being a big part of that.
Yeah, so we're a big supporter of the of OBOT, as you know, and we share their vision for revitalization downtown. We've actually have a partnership with OBOT. We produce co-publish Capital magazine together, and we have our own prosperity magazine that is part of the Capital magazine. We do a lot of things with OBOT. We share their vision, and we support them in most of their endeavors. I mean, Suling is a close ally of ours, and likewise. So it's wherever we see the need, Sam, in the community is where we will put all our efforts.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you've attracted a lot of talent as well. Has that been a challenge? We hear about talent challenges. Many business owners saying, I can't find great talent, but you seem to be doing well.
Yeah, we're doing well. I mean, growth, it's a good problem to have, but it also comes with challenges, whether it's recruiting, onboarding, mentoring, making sure the new recruits, if you want to call it, that they do fit in the TAAG culture, and we have a great work environment. We have long tenure. Most of the employees have been there for quite a long time. Many of them before I joined are still there, and and we're continuously recruiting the right people, and and people is what it's all about.
Right. And it's so important. You bring up a really good point. We talked about relationships earlier as well, and the relationships that you have in the city. Then people see that and they think, well, I want to work for TAAG.
Correct,
I mean,
yeah.
I recently had a chance to meet a number of your staff, and they're so energetic and they're excited about the next project, and they're
Right.
telling me, Sam, we're doing this, Sam, we're doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, you want those kind of people on your team.
Yeah, correct. We include them in everything that we do, and they buy into it. And and there's no shortage of good ideas. They could come from anywhere in the team, and we take these good ideas and we build on them. But again, the staff really do buy into what we do. They love what they do, and that, of course, when they're talking to our clients. There's that relationship too, where you don't find it at larger firms. We're mostly small and medium-sized businesses, where they like the personal touch. They hear from their accountant, and it's they come and see us at the office, come and have a coffee. They come and meet the person who's working on their file. There's that connection, and we foster that in our employees.
And where are you located downtown?
We're at 251 Bank, right on the corner of Cooper.
And you've got a big sign there.
Big sign, yeah. It's on
I always think about you when I see it. Yeah.
We got the sign up there, and so we moved there 2 years ago. Double the space we had before, just a couple of blocks down Bank Street, and we've actually outgrown it already. So we've got in office, we've got a hybrid model, and we've also got people working from home. So it works well for us. Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah.
And I think, to have that opportunity to be downtown and be in the heart of it, and to your point, a business owner walks a few blocks down and they actually get to see all of you.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of reminds me of old school business.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. It's the personal touch, where they're not getting with the larger firms. They, like I said, they come to the office for coffee, and that also our responsibility to downtown as well, because we see what's happening with our downtown, and we want to contribute where we can and do as much as we can. Whether it's revitalization, part of CPF. Is also comes with there's a couple of things that attracted us to it, is make the house a home. For example, where the OPS the officer would walk into a home where they have no furniture, no fridge. They go out and they buy them furniture, and then they go into another home where there is no food in the fridge. So they're handing out gift cards to go out and buy groceries. So these are the things that we think will make a difference, and you're making a difference to one person at a time, one need at a time. So
I love it, because it's, the OPS feel like they have a partner.
Yes.
You're partnering with OPS, which is fantastic, and then you've got the donors in there. And I think Dan and Kevin have done a really nice job of finding a niche that was a very big gap, to be frank, and I didn't really understand it until they came on a show that I do called An Hour to Give, and spoke about the philanthropy side. I think it's really important. The intersection of philanthropy and businesses is so interesting, because I think a lot of people think they're separate. I think they're right there hand in hand.
No, they go hand in hand, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you mentioned CPF too, there's they also support OMFI, which we do as well. Yeah, so Ottawa Network for Education, we're a big supporter of theirs, and again, because we see the need in the community. We live in the community. We're contributing where we live, and it's a great feeling. I know, like you said, there were all these events and all that, but we think it pays off. Yeah.
Well, I always think about it, and this has happened to me, where I've interviewed somebody that was benefited from a charity when they were younger, and now they're working, and now they're giving back. It's all cyclical.
It's all cyclical,
you might have somebody that years from now comes to work at TAAG, and you help them through the work that you're doing through the foundation.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
absolutely.
you love to get on that motorcycle, Bill.
Yeah.
Tell us all about that.
So we just had June 1st, we had the Ride for Dad, so it was great weather that day, and it kind of went downhill from there. But we had a great day. I think there were close to 800-900 riders that day, so it was a great show, raised a lot of money. And I sit on the national board of the Ride for Dad, and TAAG's a huge supporter of the Ride for Dad, so every single year Yeah, it was, you know, I love getting on the bike, but you're getting on the bike and you know, you're doing something great in the
Yeah.
community as well.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's-
I always see the pictures of you out there at the events
Yeah,
and stuff, and there's like suit Bill that we see now,
right, yeah.
and then there's biker Bill that we
Yeah,
see,
that's right,
you know,
yeah,
in those
yeah.
pictures. So,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
great, and I think this is just such a beautiful city to live in.
Oh, yeah.
We spoke earlier with Alain Miguelez from the NCC. I mean, you know, it's
Yeah.
just wonderful to see all of the opportunities in this city to ride and to enjoy every part of the city.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a beautiful city, you know, but we got a lot of work to do. But it's a beautiful city. We're proud of our city, but we're all in it together.
Absolutely. Where are we finding more information about TAAG?
Oh, just tag.ca. Visit tag.ca. Feel free to email us or give us a call. And like I said, we're all from Ottawa. We know small business, we know medium business, and we'd love to help. And and we want to see businesses not only survive but thrive. So.
And I think the thriving piece is really, really important.
Crucial.
I'm glad you brought that up
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Bill, Ayyad, thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure,
I
Sam,
appreciate
as
it very
always.
much. Yeah.
Take care.
From TAAG, of course, we appreciate Bill joining us, and to all of our guests. Of course, Jacqueline Belsito is here, Dr. Vera Etches, and of course, Alain Miguelez. I wanted to give a big shout out today to Sonia Shorey. She has just been announced as the new president of Invest Ottawa, and I am cheering from the sidelines. I'm so proud of her. We're going to see all of the great work that she does with the wonderful team at Invest Ottawa. This is Ottawa Business Matters. I'm Sam LaPrade. Until next time.